Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. And by what a disaster. I can't speak, you know. I was just going to say, we're not going to be looking at our island of Fawnhollow today, so we're not actually going to be seeing what it's like. We're instead going to be doing some island hopping. Because, of course, Flip moved out yesterday, and we will be doing some Nook Mile island hopping to try and find a villager to take a spot. And I do have, of course, as I mention every single time this happens, after, let's get into it after, Isabel. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 3:30 PM on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. Is there really no news for me to share today? But yeah, as I say, I have a short list of 4 villagers I would like to see. Of course, them being Biscuit, Phoebe, Fauna, and Apollo, as my 4 favorite villagers from the top 10 who have not yet moved in. So I'd love to see them if they can eventually move in, and if they can't, they can't. You know, we'll just see who Lady Luck decides is the right person to move into Fawnhollow. So we'll be doing our best, but you know, the gacha is as the gacha goes. I pressed the wrong button there. I pressed pause break. Hopefully that didn't stop anything, but I don't know because my Discord weirdly lit up. Oh, Vitamin D. Have a little greenery in your home can do you wonders, don't you think? I found that plants are excellent stress relievers, which is like why I sent this to you. I just know you'll feel the results right away. Thinking of you, Amelia. I think we got this letter before, but nevertheless, we'll just sort of keep it as it is, and we'll do all this stuff tomorrow. We're just going to see who's our visitor for today. It's not Red. Is it someone that we need to interface with? Because if it's not, we can just skip them out entirely today. Who's it going to be? It's Leif. We don't need to talk to you, so we're just going to make sure we grab our Nook Mile mission for today. We probably should check if we got a redeem Nook Mile mission. What? No, redeem Nook Mile mission. Yeah, wait, hold on. That's what I meant to say. Which we do, so we'll do that quickly. As well, right here, and then we'll just get onto island hopping and see how quickly we can hop through as many islands as possible. As you can see, we've got a load of Nook Miles in reserve, should it come to it. But I think what's probably going to happen is probably, you know, normally you have like 2 or 3 days before someone moves in. But the thing is, if someone has left one of your friends' towns and they haven't moved in anywhere, I think that's what happens, is they will move in the next day if you're not quick. So even if I don't find someone necessarily this episode who I wish to move in, I will be doing some island hopping outside of video, and you know, of course you'll see the updates of that tomorrow if anything comes about. If nothing does, then nothing does. So we'll just get on our merry way and pray to the RNGs out there if he will bless our rolls. This isn't a gacha game. It feels very weird to say for an Animal Crossing game. I mean, Animal Crossing's already got a gacha game. It's got Pocket Camp, which I have played for a little bit, and it was okay. It's like, I mean, it's a mobile game, but it, you know, it's got the gacha system going for it, so it's kind of annoying to deal with. But it's also like the gameplay loop isn't that satisfying tied to a gacha system IMO, so I kind of stopped playing it. But you know, your mileage may vary when it comes to that. Yeah. So what should we talk about? Oh, should we talk about the Nintendo E3 Direct yesterday? Did you check it out? Bait and switch like 3 times, I think, for Breath of the Wild 2, which by the way, still haven't played Breath of the Wild 1, but I know a lot of people are hyped for it, and I saw. If you haven't seen it yourself, basically it starts off, the first shot in the direct of it, like the first like footage is a picture. It's like Ganondorf being carried by someone, and Ganondorf looks like defeated. He looks like dead, shall we say? He's being carried in someone's arms, and you know, if you're like me, you saw that and being like, wow, is this actually the starting off strong with Breath of the Wild 2? And then you know, you go on, you watch it a bit more, you're like, listen, oh, it's Meringue. Oh, she's so cute, but unfortunately we had to pass on you. You might be like, okay, that's interesting. Breath of the Wild 2, and then he gets tossed into lava, and you're like, what? Ganondorf is gone? And then it turns out it's not. It's actually a Smash Bros. Announcement. It's for I can't remember his name, but he's from Tekken. I've never played Tekken. I don't think so. I don't even know the characters, but he's a guy with spiky hair. I think he's like probably the main character or something. But yeah, he's coming to Smash, which is, I mean, I don't really care for it too much, but some people that's gonna be super cool. Because Tekken's a rather big in fighting game community out there with, like, you know, Street Fighter, Marvelous, Capcom, and I don't know, Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, probably. I don't know how popular any of those are, so having that sort of crossover is very nice. It was just a hilarious bait and switch. Again, I talked about this yesterday. I think they did it with Animal Crossing, inviting Isabel to Smash. They did it again with, I feel like his name is Kazuya, but that doesn't sound right to me. It's something like that with the bait and switch of Breath of the Wild. And then, you know, we had a load of other stuff. I don't think there were too many. Oh, there was the new Metroid game coming out. I've never played any of the Metroid games, so again, it's not something that I'm particularly interested in, but I know a lot of people are. You are... I know your name. I just can't think of it. You're the Grumpy Bear. But some people really like it, and there's the Metroid Dread coming out, which I was saying, like, I'm not going to play it. It's not my sort of game, I don't think, Metroid. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't think it is. So I'm unlikely to play it. But the thing I said was, what was that? I can't remember. The robot's called, like, Lily or something, or, like, it's got a very cutesy name. But I was like, the animations on, like, how a robot moves is so cool. If you haven't seen it, go see the trailer. The way it, like, moves about and, like, flips, like, over itself to, like, rearrange and, like, because it starts off, it's like walking along the ceiling or something, and then it, like, reaches in, it's a quadricep, by the way, and then it sort of, like, spins itself around and, like, flips its legs around and look at Samus. He's walking along the floor. It's so cool. And the way he climbs that wall is, instead of, like, jumping up to reach a wall, it basically does a handstand and then, like, kicks its legs up onto a wall, and then from the legs it does, like, a handspring upwards up the wall and then starts scampering up the wall. And I was like, that is super cool to see. Yeah, the Metroid game, not really my sort of thing. You might love it. Oh, it's Lucky. Right? That's Lucky. Yeah, I think it's Lucky. I had to give you a pass, Lucky, I'm sorry to say. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, it's not my sort of game. It looks cool though. Like, I've seen reactions on my Twitter. Some people are supremely hyped about it because, you know, they love Metroid. They also confirmed that they're still working on Metroid Prime 4, I believe. Also not played that, but people are hyped for it, so fair enough. The Metroid fans got what they've wanted after, you know, so many years of silence or whatever. And then, what else? There's a new WarioWare coming out, which was incredibly random. Like, I saw the start of the trailer and I was, like, the first thing I thought of, something in my brain just went, is this WarioWare? I can't remember why. But maybe there's, like, a subtle hint in the trailer, which I didn't, like, consciously pick up on. But I was like, is this a WarioWare? And I was like, no, it's, like, not been a WarioWare for so many years. I mean, it was a WarioWare. It's quite different from what I've seen because, you know, WarioWare, if you don't know, is a minigame collection where you go, like, 3 seconds to do something. If you've seen Kukiyomi, it's kind of like what Kukiyomi was inspired from, is my assumption. But this time it's kind of different because what you do is you control a character who has to do some certain task in the minigame sort of collection, but every single character does something different, basically, with minigames. So it's kind of like having a... Who are you? I don't know who you are, but you're the snooty pig, I think. What's the saying? Yeah, each character interacts with the stage differently, so technically you can probably have a huge many different stages from just the same set of stages in the first place, which is interesting. It's an interesting mechanic. I will say when I was watching, I was like, this looks a lot slower paced than I remember WarioWare being, but I also haven't played many WarioWare games. I think I've played Smooth Moves, or maybe I played in one of the DS. I played a Wario game, I haven't owned one. It was something probably one of my friends, I don't know which friend had, and I played. No, I don't want to visit someone. But yeah, if you're a fan of WarioWare, that's probably very exciting for you. Big thing, no Animal Crossing news. A shame, but you know, I kind of expected it. I said temper my expectations. If there's going to be anything, it's going to be like a small update, probably, that would say. But to be fair, Nintendo kind of don't always put Animal Crossing news in the E3 updates, I think. Or at least they probably don't have anything but plans. If they're going to, they're probably going to release it later, I assume, in Animal Crossing Direct, or just drop a random video as they tend to do nowadays. But yeah, I've kind of expected it. Like, I don't... There is at least probably one big update for Animal Crossing coming, because it's... Some people data mine some stuff. There's a farm... Oh, I know your name. You're like Clyde or something. People data mined a thing that there's going to be some sort of farming, and there's going to be Brewster probably coming. I'm not expecting it for a huge long while. I don't really. Like, you know, I've kind of accepted it. This is probably going to be the main result of this is going to be what Animal Crossing is, basically, for, like, the next year or so. Like, you would think it'd be disappointing. I don't think it's all that disappointing. It's just kind of is what it is. It's probably how I'd say it. Like, I wasn't expecting much, and then nothing happened, so I was just like, you know, that's exactly what I expected. I can't be disappointed. Not to say that I'm not a little bit disappointed, but yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm not, like, broken over it. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to stop playing Animal Crossing. I hate it now, or that sort of thing. I'm giving up. Nintendo, worst company. Like, I mean, Nintendo, in certain ways, they are certainly behind times when it comes to things. Like, do you see that they announced a thing? They were just like, streamers, please do not restream with Nintendo Direct or something. the Nintendo conference, which is, you know, surprising. Like, I know people don't like to do it for advertising purpose. That's big top. For advertising purposes, if it like takes away from the initial revenue, but and I guess in this case maybe it'll take away from like the marketing analytics about something if they're not watching the stream directly. But I would have thought at this point, getting your big streamers to stream your conference is probably outweighs the loss in analytical data from your side, but plus you can always use their streamer analytics or something as well. Because what I thought happened this year in E3 is you could register to be someone who can restream the stream if you did it like a few months in advance of that sort of thing. You had to like fill in a form or something. I guess it's covered under some sort of journalism thing. And that's fine, and it's been pre-approved. I guess that didn't apply to Nintendo, I don't really know, but, you know, Nintendo tend to be kind of behind with these sort of things, is to be expected. And you see how long it took them to get, like, some sort of functional online play, and you can see how that online services compared to both Microsoft and Sony's. But that's neither here nor there, because that's not really relevant to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Yeah, but lots of people online about Animal Crossing, like, namely, like, Animal Crossing subreddits and Animal Crossing Twitter people, very upset over it. Understandably so, because this is the sort of thing that you are... I know your name. I feel like you're a Clarabelle or something, but that's the Disney character, so I don't think that's true. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, obviously I'm very distraught over that sort of thing. The fact there's no updates, and, you know, it's just like, you know... I feel like some of them have definitely gone a bit too far. It's like, you know... I mean, did you see how long we had to wait for a New Leaf update? You see how long we had to wait for New Horizons to even come out after New Leaf? You kind of expect it now by playing it. Not to say that Nintendo are, like, free from criticism because that's what we've always done. No, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is just sort of just like a... If you expected more, then I'm sorry to say that you're probably not going to get more. And if you wanted to stop, you probably should have stopped ages ago with Animal Crossing, is what I mean to say. It's, only the beginning of a game, and like leading up to accomplishing all your goals, I think is a good worldwide appeal to many sort of gamers. It's like sort of slice life thing. But New Horizons, it's pretty different, and the data. Oh, you are. I know you. You're like. You're on the tip of my tongue, bud. I can't remember your name. Are you Anita? You're not Anita. Do you start with P? I feel like you start with P, but I'm not sure. I'm not saying that those people aren't necessarily wrong. Well, not even necessarily bad, but not wrong for just being like, oh, I'm angry at this sort of thing. I wanted more. What I'm saying is just like, you know, take a step back, breathe, be like, you know, I think you should probably stop playing Animal Crossing if it's giving you this much sort of stress over that sort of thing. Yes, it's a fantastic game. Your favourite game series ever, and you're very disappointed at this new game basically being kind of lackluster in comparisons and a lack of updates and communication from Nintendo. But really, you shouldn't let this sort of, I suppose, stress you out and cause you undue sort of frustration and that sort of thing. If that's what it's causing you, the fact that there's no like news updates or anything in your free, you just gotta take a step back, breathe, and check out some other games. Take a step back, engage in your hobbies that you like to do, or engage in some work that you need to get done, something like that. Because it's not worth stressing over, I suppose, is what it basically comes down to. Oh, you're Ali, aren't you? I know I heard you in Wild World. It's not worth stressing over. It's basically what I'm trying to loop it all back to. You know, it's not worth just like flaming Nintendo subreddit, that sort of things. There's better things that you could do with your time. Just get your frustrations out, and then once it's done, boom, that's it. You don't need to like. I don't know if people are boycotting Nintendo, but you know, it's not just like, just understand that this is it. Give up on it, I suppose, on Animal Crossing. Nintendo are unlikely to change how they approach these sort of things. So updates are going to be same thing. But I understand the feeling of betrayal, because I guess I do kind of feel it too. Like, deep in my heart, I'm still a very big Animal Crossing fan. And when it's just like, when I saw how much New Horizons popped off of that sort of thing, I'd be like, oh, maybe Nintendo will actually start paying a huge amount of attention to it now, especially with its like worldwide appeal. I know it suddenly came out in a perfect storm of times. With the whole lockdown situation and that happening, and that more people bought it than it should be. And should do, it'll be like, and then, you know, when updates started coming out, I was like, cool, that means that it's going to be a slow roll sort of game, and after maybe like, is that Molly? That looks like Molly. After like 5 years or so, we'll have like everything in the game, and it's going to be fantastic, and, you know, updates have stopped, basically. It's just kind of, I feel it too. I feel the disappointment too. Is basically what I want to say. I'm not sure I'll go far as betrayal, but I do feel upset. I do want more. Is basically what I'm saying. And it's disappointing to log in and be like, oh, the only event is the same event that you did last year. The only thing different is now there's like 5 more items you can buy from the Nook terminal. And they seem to have basically nothing planned past the entire year, and how many events have been left out from the previous ones. How a ridiculous amount of this has basically been farming and like grinding away and crafting, which, you know, Animal Crossing is a very, very slow burn in the literal sense, but this is just like, it's a slow burn with no fuel, I suppose. Or other games the previous iterations at least had a reasonable amount of fuel to keep them going. So yeah, I mean, you kind of already seen it by now for like the past like year or so of Animal Crossing. I'm not really playing it as like the only thing you really have to do anymore after you've done all the goals, which I've not done all of them, but like, oh, you are Tia, right? I don't need to. There's not many more that I really need to do. It's just sort of I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I've just been like Nook Mile mission farming, or just like doing random stuff, just talking basically. Instead of, I'm not really playing Animal Crossing anymore. This is sort of like my own podcast. It's probably a better way to put it, but I'm framing it on an Animal Crossing video because it's something a bit more visually interesting to pay attention to, I suppose, while I'm doing it. So yeah, TLDR, I'm disappointed, and I understand that you are too, but don't worry, there's so many other cool games out there, which hopefully you can participate in. You know, it's disappointing that Nintendo's leaving this Animal Crossing series to sort of roll, but perhaps they got something planned, you know? Perhaps they'll come out a month later, Nintendo Direct, Animal Crossing, big content update coming, then everyone's going to be like, woo, again, and then everyone will come back and try it out, and probably, you know, drop it in like a month or so later, because Animal Crossing, it's, as I always say, I feel like Animal Crossing really isn't for most people. I don't mean right in a gatekeeper way, but I mean like, I feel like people expect it to be like, oh, I'm going to sit down and play it for like hours on end every single day, which, you know, some people do. You are at least, I think. Some people certainly do. That's a prerogative. That's the sort of thing. But a lot of people, I feel like, better off engaging with it, just being like a, sort of like what I'm doing. Like, oh, maybe just check in for like a half an hour each day, just doing small things, talking to your villagers, that sort of thing. Get some chores done. Slowly making progress rather than trying to get everything done in one day. Because it's not a sort of thing like Dark Souls where you're like, oh, I'm going to sit down for I'm going to dedicate my entire evening to Animal Crossing. You can. It's just, I feel like not many people are going to get too much enjoyment about that sort of thing. And sort of just, I suppose, taking a step... I was going to say take a step back and sort of being aware of that sort of thing. But I feel like a lot of people are actually kind of aware of how much we want to engage with Animal Crossing, because there's no beating around the bush around it. This Animal Crossing has a lot less content in some regards to the previous versions. Well, there's significantly fewer events, significantly less dialogue, and a lot of the furniture items are still missing. The other thing, but on the other hand, this game has a ridiculous amount more customization. You can now do terraforming, of course, of that sort of thing. You can put furniture outside, decorate as you see wish. And I think the designing aspect of it is significantly improved over New Leaf. So it's sort of like, I guess the thing is people use Animal, myself included, mind you. Are you Rody? Oh, I have no idea who you are. I don't think I've ever even seen you before. I think a lot of people, myself included, use Animal Crossing as sort of like a real life relaxing version simulator, rather they use it as a sort of a not escapism, but just time to vibe out with that sort of thing. And, you know, the amount of features that you have to vibe out with are kind of diminished because the entire like budget, I suppose, went into customization options and that sort of thing, which is fine, mind you. Customization's cool and all that, but it's not for everyone. You know, some people don't want to decorate things over and over again. I do like to decorate things. I just hate using the Animal Crossing interface. It's so annoying and it's so tedious. To a point it's now annoying. I'm just like, I want to create something, but I don't want to do it in Animal Crossing. I'll just go draw something instead, because, you know, drawing is that I'm in control, which I guess I kind of prefer. So really, this is a theory, by the way, and don't take anything of what I say as fact, or as representative of like the Animal Crossing community as a whole. I just speak out loud here, random thoughts that cross my mind. I wonder if it's sort of like a mismatch between like expectations of Animal Crossing, you know. I mean, I feel like it's easy to be like, oh, I expected there to be more in the game, but I feel like it's got a lot. It's just like the more that most people wanted, or like the vocal majority of the Animal Crossing, maybe not majority, minority, I don't know. I don't even know who you are, but I've seen you before. Are you new? You might be new, I can't remember. Or maybe you're new in New Leaf. Sorry, I just like punched my mic. I wonder if there's like a disconnect between what people expected from Animal Crossing related to Stormwind and New Horizons, because Nintendo, you know, Nintendo, whenever they do a sequel, they're like, why do the same thing better when we can just do something new instead? And this time they were just like, okay, I want huge amounts of customization and that sort of thing. Just customization out the wazoo in this game. So, once that's all well and done, I forgot what I was going to say. I've completely lost track of my thought process. What was I going to say? Oh, a mismatch, because, you know, people are expecting like a life sim sort of thing, and Animal Crossing, a comfy, relaxing, like village talking simulator, that sort of thing. A neighborhood simulator, while this one is much more of a customization. I guess it goes down more of a Happy Home Academy sort of route. Well, it's all about customizing your island, but the villages are no longer the focal point. The villages are just another set piece to decorate your island with, which appeals to some people, because you see some people on Twitter doing these marvelous, amazing island creations, which is unbound creativity pouring from them. Oh, it's you again. Hello. Strange. Yeah, I don't know if it's just a sort of mismatch, which is, you know, definitely on the fault of Nintendo. If it is that sort of thing, you would have thought they do market research of what people want from Animal Crossing and those sort of things, and analyse really what they like. Because to be fair, I think what it probably was, it was just like me and a lot of other Animal Crossing fans, especially when we've been uni, who was like, "Ooh, I like this new customization things of these public work projects. I wish we could do more customization. I wish we could decorate the island to be exactly what we want." And then Nintendo were like, "You want to decorate your island exactly what we want? Boom, got it. New Horizons. That's what it is." And we're like, "Hold on, we wanted that, but we wanted the previous stuff in the game as well, where we wanted it to feel like a relaxing, cozy life simulator where we could talk to our villagers and hang out with them and." You know, surprise them, not just surprise them with gifts, but invite them to our house and hang out at their house. And even though it's not substantial in any sort of way, we can imprint our own sort of stories onto them and create them ourselves. And then Nintendo were like, oh well. There's more customization, that's what you want. I guess it's sort of like the thing that I'm not sure if it annoys me per se of Animal Crossing. It's sort of how they're going down a much more modern take of game route of like the loot box system and like luck based sort of systems in a game to actually do things, or like heavy grinds. Because Animal Crossing, I feel like Nintendo has always resisted that sort of thing, where they always put like the fun of a gameplay first rather than anything else in particular. But seeing as like we've got these like loot box-esque systems with a presence, and you might say they've a presence and been presence in all the sort of games. Why are you only talking, seeing it as a loot box now? Well, I think is with the previous games is it didn't feel like a loot box because they felt more like tidbits which you can add on to what you do. But they didn't like inhibit your gameplay at all. They just were like extra bonuses that happened as you played at the same time. The only thing that you could argue they inhibit is getting all the golden tools. You can get golden slingshot, but the only thing you use the golden slingshot for is to shoot down balloons in the first place. So it's sort of just like doing what you do more, and you can completely not engage with that if you don't want to. The thing in New Horizons which annoys me is how recipes are hidden in the balloons, and it's one of the only ways you can get them, and how you can get duplicate recipes rather than all recipes, and how much harder it is now to actually find the balloons, because rather than having you're Billy or Gruff? I can't remember. I just looked at you and it was like, you're something like Billy Goat Gruff. It's the fact that the recipes are hidden away in the balloons. So it's now like a pot chance to be like, I like the spring blossom. I mean, this is from my own experience as well. I like the spring blossom themed sort of furniture items, cherry blossom. Okay. You know, how do I get recipes? Do I have to do like participate in an event? And which case is how it used to be, you just do like this furniture event or something, and then you'd get all the furniture items by participating in an event over that single day or whatever. Now it's like, we had to grind out all these balloons, hope you get a recipe, and hope you get a recipe that you haven't gotten before. And you've only got like a week to do it, with how infrequent the balloons are and how hard they are to spot, especially like compared to like a Wild World where you just had a whole other screen telling you exactly when they were, and they've changed how the balloons spawn and that sort of thing, because they want you to spend a lot of time in Animal Crossing to like stagger yourself out to be like, oh, you're going to amass it slowly over years. But the thing is, that's an inhibitor to the gameplay, which is the only gameplay in the game, is customization. So it's like, oh, I want to customize my island. I can't do it though because I'm being stopped by this like artificial block put in place to slow down my gameplay pace, which is fair because, you know, I feel like a lot of people do, a lot of gamers do tend to suffer sort of burnout from a game where they just be like, if there's no like daily caps of how much you can do, they would just burn through what's meant to be like months of a slow burn of gameplay, just like all in one day, which certainly happened at the start of Pandemic when people were just like, the only thing I can do is play Animal Crossing really right now. It's just like, this is not the way I wanted. Not the way I personally wanted, like, for them to slow down the gameplay pace. I wanted them to slow down the gameplay pace by me having to participate in these events where I would do stuff with furniture items, that sort of thing. So I guess literally time gated, and if people wanted to time travel forward to it, they can time travel forward to it. But I will naturally let it happen in this case. I guess it's because it's also really boring. Shooting down presents is not engaging or interesting to me, or maybe to anyone for that matter. It's not fun hunting for them, and it's got no charisma behind it. It's very soulless, I suppose. It's like it's as loot boxes are. It's very soulless. You are, oh, I know your name as well. You're like you're not Carmen. Carmen's a rabbit. You are, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I guess it's just not engaging. It's just not fun shooting down presents. But, you know, I've gone on so many like talks about Animal Crossing, like what I do to change it, that sort of thing before, but I'm not in control of that sort of thing. Nintendo aren't listening to my random cries out into the void. They're going to do what they want, and I can only hope that hopefully they got some big updates planned to make it feel a little more engaging. Not just so that like I have stuff to do in Animal Crossing, but so I don't have to just like, anytime I see something about Animal Crossing, the only thing that people talk about is how it basically sucks because there's nothing to do. You know, I just want to engage in the wholesomeness of Animal Crossing again, and the concept of it, I suppose. It's still engaging with me. Not necessarily the latest installment of it in the series, with its flaws. I don't need to be reminded of it all the time because I mean I'm living it every single day. I'm playing it for half an hour every single day. And you know, I don't mind it at all. I do like talking to my villagers, I'll be honest. I just wish they'd say more. Another duck. I don't even know who you are. I've seen you before, but only in passing. But anyway, enough talk about Animal Crossing. And we've only got 3 minutes left, so there's not really much else to talk about, but I wonder what I should title this episode. I'm not going to call it disappointment, because I think that's misleading. I'm not disappointed that there's no update dates announced, but maybe there will be at some point, hopefully. And if there's not, then that's just how it is, you know. It's kind of what I've expected. I would say it's boiling hot right now. I'll title it, expectation mismatch? Something like that? I don't know. It's very abstract. I will say, for abstract titles, no one watches them. So I should probably do a like E3 Nintendo. Because I mean I have talked about that. What about anything else that caught my eye? Oh, there was a really pretty like advert for Life is Strange. Because you know, the third installment of a Life is Strange series, True Colors, I think it's called, is coming. Which is pretty cool. They had like this nice 2D sort of animation thing with Max, Chloe, and I forgot what the new character's called. I think she's called Sam, but I'm not sure. Roscoe? Do you recognise that's Roscoe? You don't recognise us anymore. That's another thing. I wish I recognised us. I want to see my old villages. I want to have more villages on my island. That's basically what I want to do as well. But, you know, again, suggestions falling on deaf ears. But I have hope, because New Leaf had a welcome amiibo update quite a few years later, which was apparently really good. I stopped playing New Leaf by that point, so I don't really know what the amiibo update was like. Hopefully we'll have that sort of equivalent thing in New Leaf, and when that day comes, you best be ready for the Animal Crossing episode that day. That's going to be awesome. Until then, you know, we'll just be doing our usual thing of farming loot mile tickets and trying to find a villager that we want, but that's fine. What other cool Nintendo things were there? Honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Mario Golf, that was a thing. I haven't played the first Mario Golf, but GameCube was a little bit before my era. It actually wasn't. It was actually exactly my era, except for we just didn't own a GameCube. The first, like... the first game console I got was of course the Game Boy stuff. But the first one I bought for myself, bought with the pocket money I accrued from my parents giving it to me over time, was the Nintendo Wii. No, it was a Nintendo DS, and then it was the Nintendo Wii. You are Alice, I know you. And then it was a Nintendo Wii, so I started more of the Wii era rather than the GameCube era. So I haven't played the first Mario Golf, but it looks pretty cool. Like, if you're into that sort of thing, it looks fun, I'll be honest. Like, it looks like the normal mode looks completely fine, but they got this sort of weird arcade mode where you got to hit it and chase after your ball. It's like no turns, I suppose. You just got to keep going and keep hitting it. But yeah, I'm going to do some more island hopping, I suppose, after this. Or, I suppose you'll see tomorrow if we find a villager. If I want to invite, we haven't this time. But if you haven't been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, description, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, let's hope Nintendo's got some Animal Crossing update coming out sometime. Bye bye for now.